Hello everybody. Little video I was wanting to make today over um, how to make some practice nocks for those of us that use Lumenoks. I love Lumenoks to hunt with, but I don't like using my Lumenoks to practice with and have to run the batteries down and then have to buy a whole nother pack just or all new Lumenoks just to put on my hunting arrows and basically burn that money just to practice with them, because the Lumenok is quite a bit different. It's actually, I got it wrote down here, it's actually 16 grains is or I think the Lumenok weighs more than that. It's like 22 grains, but um, what I'm doing is so to prevent that. Plus, I'll say I have, a lot of times I'll shoot a deer, and then I'll take with a Lumenok, and then I'll take that Lumenok off that arrow, and I would turn that into a practice nock. Because a lot of times the battery would sit there and burn for a long time before I got down and retrieve my arrows. So I would use that as a practice nock, but I have seen it's like they don't make uh, very good practice nocks, because I had one to fail that I'd shot several times, and the little, I don't know what you call this, this piece of the nock broke off when I shot it, and I semi dry fired my bow when I did that. Thankfully, I didn't fully dry fire the bow. It did push the arrow out a little bit, but not a whole lot, and made a really odd sound. The arrow did, and I didn't know what had happened, and realized that it had become brittle, and one of these like little ears broke off when I shot the arrow. But thankfully, it didn't fully dry fire my bow. So what I've done to make practice nocks to mimic or replicate the actual weight of a Lumenok is because it does. I have seen it does change the impact at longer distances. As far as when I'm out practicing with just these regular X nocks on my practice arrows, and they're not as compared to then shoot a Lumenok, it is different. Not to mention, I think it's probably more than just weight. It's probably that it's changed the FOC so much, because it does, that added weight, that extra 16 grains compared to what one of these weighs, putting all the way in the back, does change the FOC on my arrows quite a bit. So what I did to replicate that is I figured out that it's actually the right diameter. This a 12 gauge solid copper coated wire, inch and a quarter piece is 16 grains, and add that, I don't remember what these weigh, but you add that these two together, and it equals the same amount as a Lumenok weighs. And all I do is just cut off this little inch and a quarter pieces of these, and I straighten them as much as possible to get them perfectly straight. And I know what people's going to say, that it's not a good idea to do, because I know it has to be doing it. This not being perfectly straight, not like perfectly straight, and if it is not perfectly centered, far as this way or that way in this nock, I know it is going to have to create some sort of oscillation in the back of the arrow. I think oscillation is the right word, similar to an unbalanced tire, that it is going to, as this is spinning, because I do put an offset on my vanes, and they are they're going to be spinning quite a bit. I know it's going to have to create some of this as this is spinning and not, it's not perfectly balanced, because this is not perfectly straight, and I know no matter how much I eyeball it, I get it as close as I can to dead center and as close as I can to straight. I know that it's going to be somewhat oscillation, but what I have seen is I do not see the amount of decreased accuracy or difference in my arrow groups as Lumenok to non-weighted knock. These are much closer to my arrows that I shoot with an actual Lumenok on it than just not putting this in at all. So I would, some I'll say like, well, why don't you make some? But I do wish Lumenok would make practice nocks, for their nocks where you could that would be perfectly centered and perfectly balanced. But I have a suspicion as they probably that would probably cut their sales in half, because they're probably making just as much off people practicing with the things as they are actually buying them to hunt with them. Because if I was buying them just to hunt with, I probably wouldn't. I would be lucky to buy 2 packs a year. If I shot 3 deer, it'd be just 1 pack. But maybe that's an idea for somebody that has the means to create, an X knock, G knocks, whatever knocks, but have replicate have practice knocks for these things that is, like I say, perfectly centered and balanced and straight. So all I do is just take 1 drop of this is glue for tack vanes, and I'll just put 1 drop. I'll just make it to where 1 drop comes out. Seems like it's all I need, and I'll just kind of spin that around and then push it down pretty tight, and then I'll center it. And I have used shotgun shot, but what I found was just using like a number 4 shot, I couldn't get enough shot in this to actually weigh as much to get this 16 grains that I was needing. So then I got like number 7 shot, number 6 shot, number 4 shot, and I mixed them, putting the small at the bottom, and tried to fit them all in, and I could get them really close to this weight by doing that. But I feel like it is more unbalanced, or has the potential to be more unbalanced than this here, because the shots was all over the place in there. They're not stacked perfectly centered, and some of my arrows now rattle. Some of my nocks rattle. I can tell the ones that have the shot in there, because the glue didn't get around all the ones other than the one in the front. But that is as perfectly centered as I can get it with my eyes. And then I will just put it on something like this little cup, which is tight in there. It's also, you push them in, they get really tight because of the cone shape down at the bottom. It kind of presses around them. Cone shape in the bottom of the nock, it presses around them, so it's not going to lean over or whatever. I just don't want the glue to run out, but that will withstand impact after impact. And say number 12 solid copper wire coated, 1 inch and a quarter, plus an X knock, weighs the same as a Lumenok. So that's it for today. Thank you.